Nashville going to be good? That's fun.
I'm not convinced, but
they're already way better than we thought they'd be 2 years in a row. You're like, how is this team good? But the kids they've got have been really good, like the Evangelistas.
But that's the problem I have. What do you need the old bastards for then?
Oh, because then you can slot these kids properly.
Well, aren't they going this way, the kids? So
yeah, I don't know if there's a 40 goal scorer in there. That's what Stammer had last year.
Well, there's certainly not going to be if Stammer's taken all the time.
I like what they did. And I think Barry Trotz is like, screw it. Why mess around? Let's try to win. Now, look, in 5 years, but Shea's a good defenseman.
I like that.
And it's a 4-year deal for Stamkos, so it doesn't feel like it's a killer, right?
Yeah.
You can, that's palatable. It's 5 for Marchessault, 7 for Shea. It's interesting. I wonder how close and how much of the talk of trading Saros was actually legit and how much was just media speak.
It never made sense to me.
That's a big pivot, right? It's how they may trade this guy or sign him for 8 years.
And the
you
word
can't
was
go in much opposite directions than that. So now Ashkarov, the other goalie, is kind of hanging, twisting in the wind. They'll move him at some point. But it really kind of looks like you said, we're gonna try this. We're going to sign the goalie. We're going to go to free agency. I don't know how far out they knew they had a line on Stamkos, how much that affects them.
Like Thursday, Friday is when things fell apart. It was like, it's done in Tampa.
Yeah. And I said to Rhett if Florida can be a tax-free destination and Vegas can be tax-free and these teams could, why the hell not us? Let's try and make at least start to get a culture here and get things going. Not that they haven't been, obviously, but maybe no one thought Vegas was going to be that. And for a long time, the Florida Panthers certainly weren't that. Maybe it can be Nashville's turn. I don't know.
Well, and look, I think the tax-free thing gets blown out of whack because it's not like these are bad places that happen to have good tax rates. They're all phenomenal places. Like you think about the weather, you think about the cities, you think about living in those places. They might be on the top of your
list anyway.
Yeah, like let's say Winnipeg is tax-free. Does anyone give a shit? Like, I'm sorry, I don't think so. But do you like Miami, Fort Lauderdale? Oh, well, hell yeah. Like that's in the winter, that's perfect. And then in the summer, I can go somewhere, and that's when it's the worst. Nashville, amazing. One of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. Like Vegas, oh my God, insane. Like we're talking about really, really desirable destinations that happen to have that extra bonus of less tax. Now, you still travel on the road. You still pay taxes on all 41 road games. Ooh. But L.A. doesn't have a tough time recruiting. That's one of the worst tax environments in the U.S. The Rangers, worst tax environment in the U.S. They don't have a tough time recruiting. The zero state tax thing is a bonus. These are all places you'd want to live as a hockey player in the winter. I just think people miss that too much.
Just looking at their depth chart as it sits on Daily Faceoff. They have the top line from a year ago with Nyquist on the right side, Philip Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly. Stamkos left, Marchessault on the right side, Tommy Novak down the middle for line 2, Colton Sissons, third line center with Evangelista and former Flame Mark Jankowski, and then Michael McCarron, Juuso Parson, and Cole Smith. There may be some guys, to your point, Retro, that are coming. Right now, it doesn't feel...
They're not pushing anyone off the depth chart.
You know, if Cole Smith wants to throw his weight around and Evangelista, I think Evangelista was good, but he's still getting... He's going to be a top 9 guy. And then in the back end, they add Shea, they add Alexander Carrier. So
they keep him. Yeah, they retain Carrier.
They keep him. So it's Yossi and Shea, Lozon, Carrier, and then Spencer Stastny and Luke Shen on the back end. So, I mean, it's not a juggernaut, but to your point, they look like they're better. They look like there's a different kind of a feel to them. And I just wonder moving forward how much, and I think everybody likes the coach. Everybody loves Barry Trotz. Like you say, everybody loves the city.
Burnett, yeah.
That said, Yossi's not young. Stamkos isn't young.
And 6 months ago, they were going to dismantle.
Yeah, and that's why I never really bought the Saros thing, because it's like, when in the last 10 years have we seen an organization hand the keys to an AHL goalie? Especially a team that was almost that did make the playoffs. They lost to Vancouver. What playoff team have we seen hand the keys to a 21-year-old AHL?
I'm going back further though.
Maybe Carey Price. Yeah, but that's not even the last 10 years. Like it's so
Well,
rare, and that's why I
how
don't
many
really buy it.
how many goalies are getting picked in the first round anymore? Right?
Askarov was, but my point is just that like it never felt like I always thought it was negotiating leverage with Saros, because even Saros who's a great goalie and has finished top 6 in Vezina like the last 4 years in voting. I don't know about this year, but prior, like he had 4 or 5 years of understudy on Rene. Like it isn't a problem to have like a nice platoon with a star goalie and a prospect goalie. Like what are we talking about here? And I think the word was Stamkos or Saros's camp said, get this done. It was just like, it was too much. So if it was negotiating leverage, it worked because he said, get the deal done. And it's not 9, 10. What is it? 8? Like
but my point was that January, they were out of the playoffs and in sell mode.
Yeah. They had a nice little heater there, didn't they?
Right. Didn't they win a gajillion in a row and get themselves back into it and have the best second half in the league?
With Edmonton. Yeah. And the year prior, we thought they were no good, and they were pushed right till the last week of the season and almost got in. So they were always a sum greater than their individual parts the last 2 years. And now all these guys that aren't stars are slotted more appropriately. And for the age concerns about Yossi and Stamkos, we haven't seen decline yet. Like they are still doing what they're paid to do. Like Stamkos scored 40 this year. Roman Yossi had what? Something close to 80 points. Like
I'm jaded about Stamkos because you're playing with, you still have to put the puck in the net, but he's not driving those goals. You know
he's
what I mean?
Finisher. Yeah, I agree. And he's not great defensively, but he's a finisher. And that, they've got a bunch of blue collar plumbers that can play D. This is going to help their power play. And, their top 6 looks way more deadly after July 1.
Stamkos 34, Marchessault 33, Ryan O'Reilly there. He's got 3 years left. He is 33. Nyquist is 34.
All those guys have won a cup too.
34 for Yossi. Shea is 30. And Saros, who will he's got 1 year left, right? At his last deal. He wasn't a UFA, so he's got 9 years left, including the extension, and he's 29.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's a little different, and I'm not coming back at you, but how dissimilar. And I mean, it's not exactly what Florida did with Bobrovsky and having drafted Spencer Knight, but this is the team with a first round drafted goaltender and have elected to give a long-term big money extension to a veteran goaltender.
I'm kind of with Pinder here, and I don't think anyone's against Pinder, but go back to Pittsburgh and it wasn't a first rounder, but when they had
Murray and Fleury.
They were both playing very well, and the team was doing quite well. It's an asset that's quite easy to move. You got a goaltender?
In theory, yeah. And I just, until you prove it in the NHL, I don't really care if you're dominant in the A. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And, of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.